Here we go, another market analysis starting with an overview. I gotta say, we did find some more downside today, which I was expecting, and we're starting to see some pivots around the market that I have been waiting for a while. So let's just start running through it. I don't have my paintbrush on, do I? Yes, I do. First things first, let's start with SPY. We do have a green candle here. Don't be tempted into thinking that this is a bullish reversal hammer, because it's not. That tail has got to be 2 times the height of the body of the candle, and it's just simply not. So we don't have a hammer. It does, however, seem to imply some bullish support has been encountered. And I was looking at the charts, and I thought to myself that what makes the most sense is to see the price come back up to about 412 or 411 to complete a corrective bounce before completing this move down. I think this has got a long way to go. How long this corrective uptrend lasts, I don't know. I really do think that tomorrow is going to be a bad day, Friday. I don't believe that we're going to get good economic data. I don't. Could go either way. I was expecting a little more tragic of a dump before we got this corrective bounce. Getting the timing down to the day is very difficult. That's not a level of accuracy that is very common, but that could be a little bull trap before a dump on Friday, and then we start that corrective bounce. That would do the most damage to traders. The dollar is now starting to break up and out, which is super great. If you're not invested in gold like I am, you can see GLD is dumping. I like the tail on this daily candle. I also appreciate that the RSI is finding some support at that 30 level as the price is finding some horizontal level support and resistance at that 158 level that I was talking about yesterday. 158. I said if it goes below 158, I'll have to consider being bearish. Here we are at 157.87. I don't know. I'm thinking this looks good. If we get some sort of a pipe top in the dollar, that could help push gold higher. Or GLD, I should say. More than anything else, though, I think if SPY starts to head higher, so far, GLD is still positively correlated with the stock market, and so we'll see that equity rise as well. SPXU. In the Discord yesterday on this candle, I said I expect one more push higher before a pull down and an opportunity to reposition. This is that move right there. We did see a push higher today, tested this uptrend, and now we find ourselves into retracement. This encourages me to think that SPY is going to make this corrective bounce because SPXU pretty clearly is topping. Support will be found either at this green level or this uptrend. It's not great to see the RSI not reach overbought, so it's possible we still actually have one more push higher, and that would signal a motive wave completion when the RSI reaches that overbought level. Still need one more day of clear price action to start making more solid forecasts. The one thing I don't need to worry about are these stocks, AMC and APE. They're just dumping. The analysis has been just down, 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 expect more down. No, that's not a bounce, and no, that's not going to cause a squeeze. And well, sure enough, these two equities are just dropping. So it's kind of boring covering them. They look bad. I think that they're working on their last push down. No one knows when they're going to stop. SPXU is really cool because it is a short ETF, or it represents the short side of SPY trading. I don't understand how that works. ETFs are elusive to me. ETFs are super cool. Electronic trading funds. And I'm not sure what is included in SPXU. I should probably look. Nonetheless, here we go. I'm tempted to think that we could be looking at an ABC correction pushing higher. And now we're going to get potentially what will form a fourth wave retracement. You see, you can never know if these corrective bounces are going to develop into motive mode or not until you get the bounce. So the top of this run back here, that's really where the mark is going to be. And if the price continues to drop and find support there before pushing higher, that's going to make a really clear 4 wave. And that's because waves 1 and wave 4, they aren't supposed to overlap. It does occur in equities that have options chains. It's brief, and typically on a closing basis, you don't get the overlap. And that's my experience, is that on a closing basis, you don't get the overlap. So I'm looking for this push and maybe up to 5. And so this downtrend from the top of wave 3 to the bottom of wave 4, this would be a corrective bounce in SPY. And that would go along pretty well with what we saw SPY do on the daily chart. Overall, I think I'm still very, very, very bullish on this particular equity because I see a lot more downside in SPY coming. Of course, no one really knows, but I'm pretty bearish. So let's talk about on-balance volume. I want to debunk on-balance volume a little bit. It's been spread around throughout the internet that this indicator basically says AMC is going to run because, well, next slide, please. The on-balance volume here is shown on the bottom. You can see how high on-balance volume has risen and how the price has been sinking. And the common belief is that because OBV is so high and the price is so low, then the price will correct to the upside. Because after all, the on-balance volume is a accumulation of volume traded. And there is just so many holes in that theory. It's wrong! It's just wrong! So let's learn something here. On-balance volume, and I took this screenshot because I want to show that I'm on Thinkorswim, their learning center. This is a reputable source of information, and this is where you should be doing your learning. I always want to share good data, good information. There is too much junk out there. Way too much junk. So this is your broccoli, your salad, your kale, whatever you like to eat. Get your greens and do some real learning. So let's read this. On-balance volume keeps a running total of volume flowing into or out of a security. When the security closes higher than the previous close, all of the day's volume is considered up volume. And that's really important, that this is an indicator that is based on the close. So I'm going to zoom out and go over back to our chart, and let's have a look at AMC. This run back here was spectacular. They turned the buy button off. You know that during these market hours that there was no buy volume, at least not from retail. So when we look at what happened on balance volume throughout that period of time, we know that this is actually selling volume that is causing the OBV to rise. Because the buy button was off, there was a ton of selling, and the closes of some of these candles are higher than the previous close. That's true between these 2 days. That's true between this day, and again here and here, and again here and here, and these are all sell days. And so that means that this push higher in OBV is not bullish volume. It's just not. So that rise from 200 million to 3 billion, that's mostly nonsense. It's mostly fluff. This is why OBV is broken. Okay, Cap, but what about this run right here? You got another huge rise from 3 billion to 5.5 billion. And we have some green candles over here. And that's true. But something else to consider is that any short selling volume through this period of time is also going to be represented in this total. Sell volume and buy volume, both are represented in the OBV, and as long as the close of a day is above the close of the day prior, it gets added to the OBV. The OBV does not distinguish between sell and buy volume. And so what happens next is you see the price start to tank. It just drops and 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 drops. OBV remains relatively the same because the total volume that was traded between these two runs vastly outweighs all of this volume. So naturally, the OBV is going to be broken. It's just broken. It's not a reliable indicator. And actually, there's something else in here that should make you really scratch your head. Look at this. A rising OBV is defined as a sign of smart money flowing into a security. As the public then moves into the security, both the security and the OBV will surge ahead. If the price movement precedes, this is the important part, if the price movement precedes the OBV movement, it is called a non-confirmation. Non-confirmations tend to occur at bull market tops or at bear market bottoms. So let's read that again. If the price movement precedes the OBV movement, it's called a non-confirmation, which tends to occur at bull market tops or bear market bottoms. So let's go back over here. Let's run through this. We have the price moving down before OBV is moving down. This is non-confirmation, and it tends to happen where? At bull market tops. And here it is. The OBV does not support that AMC will squeeze. It does not indicate that. It's just that simple. And if you understand how on-balance volume works, that's not hard to understand. And I'm just very frustrated about this sort of stuff. It's just killing me. I see all of this OBV stuff being passed around. I used to look at OBV incorrectly as well. If you go back to like my first videos, they're awful. I mean, I was a total ape. I've gone through a lot, and I've had to exercise a lot of humility too, because a lot of the stuff I learned was wrong. And it makes me mad. It makes me mad. I was duped too. If you feel duped, that's normal. Everyone who bought above, what, like $12 or $13 at this point is just getting wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. I was fortunate to be buying back here and exited up here. Well, not totally. I took most of my profit. I took a huge amount of my position out here. And then kind of just like learned how to trade. I gave back a lot of the profits trading. And then at this most recent peak, this is when I sold the rest of my position and came out flat there, which was acceptable. So that's just me debunking the OBV analysis. Tomorrow might be a very interesting day. Buckle up, know where your stop losses are. Happy trading.